There we go. So, yeah, type O, mom. And the dad is type A. What kind of blood will their kids have? Denise, what did you determine? So, if if a child had the A allele and the O allele, what kind of blood would they have? If they had, so you're saying this is their genotype? Well, let's like what kind of blood can a person have? Can they have type A blood? Yes. Type O blood? Yes. What are the other types? A, B, and B. Now, those are the main ones. You also have positive and negative, right? Rh factor. And then there's even more complicated ways that blood can be typed that really come into a factor. When do you really have to be careful about genetic markers for a person in a medical setting? You got to have the right blood type and the Rh positive for blood transfusions. But there's other things you need to be even more specific about. And what would that be? What happens if your kidneys fail totally? What will you try to get? Try to get a replacement, right? And we call that a replacement kidney transplant, right? So we do a transplant. I think there's like 20 or 30 different genetic factors they'll be looking at. They'll do a deep, deep dive. The crazy thing is, sometimes people, that's my understanding, latest time I was reading about it, even people in your own family might not be that good of a match, the way the genetics work. That sometimes somebody outside your family might be a better match, which is kind of, you think, oh, the family's got to be the closest, but not always. Oh, okay, so AB blood, B, and O. Overwhelmingly, what kind of blood are most people? Like 90% of you in here probably are one of two blood types. What blood types would those be? O blood and A blood. Yeah. It's like 42 and 44%, depending, on the population. So that's like 85% of people are either A blood or O blood. AB blood, pretty rare, as is B blood. Okay. So if you are O blood, so Denise, so what kind of blood? So you want to take us through the Punnett square? Do you have something you could talk to us about? Or you need more guidance? More guidance. Okay. Jacqueline, did you have any thoughts or a Punnett square you could take us through? Or need more guidance? More guided practice from the teacher, maybe? Okay. Kimberly, you have any thoughts or any help you can take us through? Yeah, A blood, that seems reasonable, right? A blood, because the mom has A blood. I'm sorry, the dad has A blood. Okay. Is it reasonable the child could have O blood? That might make sense because the mom has either something, either the mom or the dad, something from them. What about B blood? Are there going to be any B alleles to give to the kids, do you think? Could there be B alleles? don't know. What about AB? Could a child be AB? No. The answer is no. Yeah, it couldn't be. Now let's look into that. So if the mother has, let's see, genotype over here, phenotype over here. If the phenotype is O blood, do we know the genotype? Like, do we know exactly what their genotype is? Is O blood recessive or dominant? Lucas, is the I capital or lowercase for O blood? It's lowercase. That means it's recessive. So can an A or a B allele be hiding out in a person who's O blood and only has recessive phenotype? No. So if they're O blood, we know for sure their genotype is little I, little I. Okay, that we know. If anybody is showing a recessive trait, you're going to know their genotype because they have to have both recessive alleles. Okay, if they show the dominant trait, you don't know. They could have 2 dominant or 1 dominant, which is the case with the father. If the father is A blood, could this be the genotype? Could they be capital A, little I? Could that be the father? Would that person have A blood? Yes, they would. Because the A would dominate. It would overpower, cover up the O blood allele. What could the father also be? Could he have another genotype? He could also be homozygous dominant, have 2 A's. Any questions on that? So the dad, he's at A blood, but we don't know if he has 2 A's or 1 A. Okay, that's up in the air. How could we potentially find out what he has? What do we do in genetics? If we know one for sure, and we don't know the other, what kind of a cross is that called? Or trying to figure out somebody's genotype. Well, if you're trying to look for something, that's called a test cross. So that'd be a test cross. So this case is actually a test cross. So let's put the males on top. Well, let's put the female on the side. Let's do those first. Do we always know the female genotype? We do. It's always little I, little I. Now, I did 2 Punnett squares because we have 2 genotypes for the father. Father could be homozygous dominant, or the father could be heterozygous. All right, so now you know those Punnett squares. Why don't you go ahead and maybe modify yours if you need to. Fill those out, and then tell me what the phenotypes are going to be for each of those. Phenotypes for, are they going to be A, what percent A, O, A, B, or B, whatever you think. Go ahead, fill those out. Or I think some of you actually have something like that. Then write down what the outcome is for the kids. When I write, I usually like to put the capital first. Those are the genotypes. Tell me what those phenotypes are going to be. What kind of blood will they have? A blood, B blood, O blood, AB blood. Jesus. All right. Let's go to Julian. What are the bottom two boxes for this first Punnett square? And same first. So they're all the same, aren't they? So what kind of blood would this be? 100%. What kind of blood? A. Okay. Now for the second one, Annabelle, are we going to get the same thing? No. What do we see in the second one, Annabelle? You have O type, don't you? What percent are O blood? 50% O. And what percent? What's the other type? A. Also coming in at 50%, I assume. Okay. So if a man and a woman, the woman is O blood and the man is A, if they have any O-blooded child, does that tell you what the father has? What his genotype is? Let's say this happened in real life and this couple had an O-blooded child. Would you then know what the father's genotype is? You would, right, Lucas? Why would you know? Yeah, he's got to have that recessive gene, right? If he was homozygous dominant, he's never going to have an O-blooded child. Now, if they had an A-blooded child, does that tell you anything about the father? It doesn't, right? Because it could have an A-blood child each way. But if the father has an O-blooded child, he definitely is heterozygous. So, oops. So write that down. If, oh, you guys run out of space, huh? Remember, that's called a test cross. Might surprise you, this happened in real life. Guess who it happened to? Guess. It happened to me. Yes, it happened to me. I know I'm A blood. My wife is O. And very first thing, I don't know, for some reason, they tested our first son at the hospital for his blood type. Guess what blood type he has? No. Not B. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. If he had B blood, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? So that's how they used to do paternity tests back in the day. They would do blood types. What's the problem with doing blood type for paternity? Do you know for sure who the father is? No. You can eliminate, but you don't know for sure. Because remember, half the world is either pretty much A or O. So no, he didn't luckily turn out to have B blood. Although I'd love him just the same, you know. But he happened to have O blood. Yeah. So I found out that I am what? Heterozygous. I have that A allele and I have an O allele. And to me, that was really profound. I'm like, I solved a genetic, and I never knew I had that genetic riddle, but I solved it. Okay? All right. So just remember, the blood type, it's really kind of a hassle using those capital I's and those little i's and keeping track of it all, but that's the symbols that they're going to be using. So, favorite shade of green. Miguel, what's your favorite? Mint. Oh, let's see. No. Let's see. Keep. And there we go. So I'm going to give a vote. Okay, so mint. Okay. Pauline, what's your favorite? You like the jade? Oh, yeah. Nico, what's your favorite? Oh, the lawn or lime? Lime? Yeah, a little light. Ooh, that's nice. Brittany. The jade? Ooh, got another jade. Denise. Pastel. Okay. Jacqueline. Emerald. Kimberly. Oh, another emerald vote. Julian. Pastel. Where's that? Where? Another pastel vote. Annabelle. Emerald. Ooh, that emerald. Wilman. Emerald? Okay. Oh, dang, that emerald. That's number one. Lucas. Pastel. Okay, go vote for pastel. Got 3. I should have just did tally marks. America. Jade. Dang, what am I? For Jade. And then Emily. Jade. Oh, Jade, come back. Jasleen. Basil. Ashley. Jade. Okay. So that's 4. So we kind of tied emerald and jade. Okay. With pastel coming up. Lime, mint, and basil. Nobody wants apple or pear. That's kind of like puke green, that pear. You know, you heard of puke green before? I won't talk anymore about that.